Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Good morning, everybody. Oh my goodness, we have a lot to cover today. Let's just jump in and get there. Oh my, let's go. Now we're going to start off with Prince Charles. He held an audience with Ursula von der Leyen, I hope I'm saying that correctly, at Windsor Castle. Now, earlier the EU leader and the Prime Minister agreed to a new protocol deal. The deal is called the quote-unquote Windsor Framework. Now, we know that the king is remaining politically neutral. This meeting is covering a long, broad range of topics. Now, the people are insinuating that the king is meeting her for political reasons, but Buckingham Palace put out a statement that said the king is pleased to meet any world leader if they are visiting Britain, and it is on the government's advice that this meeting is taking place. The palace also said that it's not uncommon for the king to accept invitations to meet certain leaders. He met President Duda and President Zelensky recently. Nobody cared about that. So I like what Pooja said. The king met her after the deal was struck, not before. The king was just welcoming a foreign dignitary, and nobody seemed to have an issue when the queen met her. All right, moving on.
All right, really quickly with Anne, she held 2 investiture ceremonies at Windsor Castle and gave awards to over 130 people. No wonder she's the hardest working royal.
Zara Tindall and her son Lucas watched Mike Tindall play the Battle of the Balls charity football match in Gloucestershire on February 26th. That is one cute kid. Anyway, everybody's talking about Zara because the jacket she was wearing cost £950. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Here's another picture of it just in case you're interested. Now, of course, don't worry about where were the other kids because they were also there. Funny, some of them are bundled up and some of them aren't and don't seem to be cold either. Wonder what the weather was that day. For those of you who may not remember, this little gorgeous thing is 2 years old. I believe he's the one that was born in the bathroom because they couldn't get to the hospital in time. All right, very cute. Moving on. Here we go. Once again, forgive the pronunciation. I'm trying. The Prince and Princess of Wales went to the Bryanwell Rehabilitation Centre near Pontyclun in South Wales. This is a place that assists people that have drinking and drug addiction problems. They're there to champion their mental health initiatives and meet the local communities. They're also looking at the new therapy allotment that's being built with the help of their Royal Foundation. This is called Life 27, and what it does is it creates allotments and therapy gardens to help support mental health. So what they're offering is free and low-cost gardening therapy and mental health support sessions for adults in therapy and their families, plus the wider community. So, of course, Catherine and William went there and they surveyed the area, the plot of land where the gardens are going to be. And then Catherine planted some seeds that were called the Sweet William. How sweet. They got to meet the therapy dogs. You know how much they love all of that. So now they've seen the planting area. They've seen the therapy area inside. They met some of the locals. Catherine got some gorgeous flowers. And I do have to say, I love this outfit, as is typical for Catherine. You know that there's a lot of effort put into her outfits and her hair, but for some reason, she always just looks effortless. You guys know what I'm saying. She looks like she just reached into the closet, pulled out 3 things and threw them on, and out the door she goes. You guys know what I mean. Okay, so a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce again for the information on the outfits. And then they went off to the next engagement that they had. You're not going to believe this one. Catherine and William went to the Aberavon Leisure and Fitness Center where they took part in a spin challenge. Now, you know how competitive these two are. There is a video, which I can't show because it's copyrighted, but the two of them were cycling for 45 seconds as hard as they could. William's like, pay no attention to us. Just keep on talking. And the two of them were going at it. You know, when they finished, look at Catherine's face. She's like, I beat you. FYI, Catherine won, as if we didn't know she was going to. Go, Catherine! And when Catherine and William left the swim club, Catherine was presented with some gorgeous daffodils and sunflowers. I love it. All right, really quickly also, per Cameron Walker, William, the Prince of Wales, is now the royal patron of the Wales Air Ambulance Charity. I love it. All right, next up, Princess Eugenie was out and about at the prosthetic rehabilitation unit with 2-year-old Posey. She's taking part in a campaign to make the impossible possible for those who have complex orthopedic situations. Okay, here we go. They're saying that Harry is a breathtaking narcissist over the apology ultimatum. Well, yesterday they also labeled him a whining crybaby. But yes, I think he thinks too much of himself. You know what I'm saying? Like he's so important when he's not. Also, it's being reported that the attacks against William and Catherine have increased their support while Harry and Meghan have gone down the other end. That's something we already knew and we've already talked about. All right, let's move on. Now, this next story, I have to tell you guys, you know, Princess Charlotte and Louis's roles, they're too young. They're not going to have roles in the coronation. I can guarantee you they won't. And personally, I don't think Louis is going to be there because I don't think he'll be able to stand still long enough. I'd be pleasantly surprised if he did show up, but I don't think he's going to be there. And now they're questioning these stories about Camilla's children being involved. That may not be true. Well, let's sit back and see what happens. All right, you guys. OK Magazine did the women of the royal family. I touched on this the other day. A big thank you to According to Taz for the photos you're about to see, because I didn't get the magazine. But they definitely threw shade at Meghan and Harry. First of all, I love the fact that they put Charlotte in as the future. I love the fact that they used Lady Louise and, of course, Secret Weapon Sophie. I love the fact that they showcased some of the other women like Princess Margaret, and they showed the Queen and Philip. But when it comes to Harry and Meghan, they really, like for instance, here's a picture of Meghan's talking about how she was silenced while she's holding a microphone. Then there's a picture of them next to Wallace Simpson. Shade galore, man. Love it. Now, I need to throw this in really quickly from Twitter. It is the last day of Black History Month. You didn't hear anything from Harry and Meghan about Black History Month this time around because they've used all the Black hero stories and struggles to prop themselves up, and they have done nothing lasting for the community. I agree. All right, let's move on. Also from Glittery Storm on Twitter, this is exactly it. So Meghan can make an effort to promote her latte side hustle, but she doesn't acknowledge Black History Month, promote Black-owned brands, or even elevate Black voices. She has used women of color as attack dogs for the past 4 years, used them to promote her endeavors while pretending to be the epitome of struggles and prejudice against actual Black women, but she's too posh and unbothered to give something back. Exactly. Well, we all know that they're trying to repair their reputation. They're trying to rebrand and they're trying to win back support, but it's not going well. Part of the rebranding is what Meghan did today with the coffee company. We're going to cover that in just a few minutes. It's not working. Also, it came out in the news that Meghan was under the impression that Harry was like a millionaire or a billionaire. She didn't understand that he lived for free, that the family gave them money to live and paid for everything. I'm like, she didn't understand any of it, and I think she's very disappointed in that. I agree. All right, here we go. Courtney Cox is now responding to the allegations of the drugs in her house. She admits that Harry did stay there for a couple of days. She said she recently saw him at Ellen DeGeneres' party, but kept to herself since he was talking to other people. And she said, I haven't read the book, but I want to hear it because I heard it's really entertaining. I think she said that not in a good way. But yes, it's gotten back to me about it. I'm not saying there were mushrooms. I definitely wasn't passing them out. There you go. All right, next up really quickly, the website is up. Remember, he's going to do that. It's a virtual, thing where he's talking about the book, but you're not allowed to talk to him. You're not allowed to interact with him. And you're only allowed to ask questions which will be pre-screened and very quickly decided what will be answered, okay? But when you look at the website, it's more sympathy, look at me, Diana, blah, 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 blah. Now, here's the interesting thing. Well, there's a couple of things. Here we go.
So the first thing they put on there is, and Harry's giving £1.5 million to Simpsonville and £300,000 to Wellchild. He made a $20 million advance and there's more coming. So that would be like me making $100 and giving a quarter. Okay? He's giving like a 1% thing and going, look at me. Exactly. It says on the website that they fled in fear of their sanity and physical safety. So basically they're now claiming that somebody wanted to physically hurt Meghan in the palace. But poor refugees that they forgot to mention where they landed. Yes, this is where they stayed as the poor refugees that they were. Ugh. All right, here we go. This is the big one for today. Meghan finally shows up after leaving Harry out to dry. But what does she show up in? She shows up in an Instagram commercial where she's pushing that coffee brand that she invested in 2 years ago. Okay? So let's take a look really quickly at this. So first of all, she's got professional makeup. She's been heavily filtered and photoshopped in the photo. And she's trying to make you think that she's listening to what this woman says. It's the same facial expression she always has. Okay? So I did a video in December of 2020 when she first showed this brand of coffee. Okay? So I want you to watch that to refresh your memory. Watch this. Well, I wanted to do a quick video on the coffee that Meghan Markle, and started an investment portfolio and she's invested in this coffee. So let's take a look at that, shall we? Now, we all know that in order to get the word out that she has invested in this coffee and to get people to buy this coffee, she sent some over to Oprah, and Oprah immediately sent out a tweet. And as Oprah sent out this tweet, my neighbor M sent me a basket of deliciousness, with the crown on it. And this is just the best thing in the world. You have to wonder what the royal family is thinking about all this. Meghan stated she was proud to join with this company because Hannah sources ethically and it's a female-run company. But in actuality, that's not true. There is a man who is a half owner of the company, and his name is Roger. And I find it interesting that in all the statements made by Meghan about this company, she glasses over this guy like he's not even there. Here is a copy of the limited liability company filing from 2019, which shows that the owner is Roger Coppola. So the website is misleading in itself because it says we are a woman-led, mission-driven wellness company, but actually there is a co-owner who's a man. Now, before you go to their website, be careful because it clearly says that they automatically collect information on you, which God knows what they're doing with it. Reminds me a lot of the Archewell, doesn't it? And they have the right to share your information and sell your information. So be careful before you log on here. So to start with, this company, if they were going to explode onto the market because Meghan was helping them, should have taken this off their website. Then I started looking at the bags of coffee that they sell. There's 4 different kinds, and each bag of coffee is only 12 ounces. That's right, people, 12 ounces of coffee or whatever it is they're selling in each container. 48 ounces of coffee for $100 before tax. I mean, you have to wonder who the target audience is for these kinds of prices. Most people are having trouble putting food on the table and paying their rent. They're not paying $100 for 48 ounces of coffee. Which brings me to insert one more point here. Didn't Meghan just give a speech to the masses through CNN about the unsung heroes and how we know things are hard and people need food and everything, but yet she wants you to go spend $100 on coffee, of which she'll make a percentage? My goodness. Now, when we're looking at the products, the matcha supposedly gives you Zen-like energy that lasts for days. The coffee, they claim, gives you all energy with no jitters. The golden claims to have anti-inflammatory properties that can help you out if you're having issues there. And last but not least is the chai, that they claim will give you a gentle energy boost and is like a warm hug in a mug. Sound familiar? And after making all those claims, they put a disclaimer on the bottom of their website that none of their statements have been approved by the FDA, so therefore they can't prove any of what they say. And for those of you who don't know, the FDA is the Food and Drug Administration. It's a federal agency in the United States that tests products to make sure that they're safe and they live up to what they claim. Just so you know where the products are coming from, the coffee is being shipped in from Colombia, the mushrooms are being shipped in from China, and whatever the other ingredient is that they're using is being shipped in from India. Now, the website claims that all the things that are being shipped in from China and India and Colombia are all ethically sourced, but they can't prove that. So apparently the royal family is not viewing this well, as you can see above, because once again, she's using Oprah and she's using the royal connection to try to peddle products. So the royal family is getting upset because when Harry and Meghan decided to step back as senior royals in order to become financially independent, everybody knew it was going to be a bit of a balancing act, but very clear promises were made at the time to uphold the values of Her Majesty and the Crown, and that neither party should be trading on the royal connections to benefit financially. That's why they weren't allowed to use the word royal in their Sussex Royal website. I mean, it's very easy to see how the emojis were trading on the royal connections, and it is not respecting the values of the royal family. And after all, Harry and Meghan did agree to not bring the crown into disrepute. Promises were made to uphold these values, and they're not doing it. We all know that the one-year review is coming up in just 3 months. And I think that what's going to happen with this is Meghan's going to say that she didn't tell Oprah to do that. Oprah did that on her own, and she had nothing to do with it. Let's be honest, though, Oprah didn't just get this package and put out this Instagram post and tag Meghan Markle in it. I guarantee you Meghan said, listen, I'm trying to do a startup here. I'm going to send this to you. Would you please tweet or Instagram on it? And Oprah said, sure. And even though I showed you this tweet yesterday from royalty, I'm showing it again because it basically points out everything. It's a fake organic moment between friends, at which time Oprah is hawking the coffee, and it lets you know that for all of the expense and all the money that you have to pay for this coffee, they're only giving 1% to help with charity. So then in April of 2021, some interesting news came out. So watch this. As you can see, they're still saying that they're women-led, but that's a change from the last time where they said they were women-owned, and that was proven to be a lie. It was a 50-50 split between a lady and a man. But Meghan really wanted you to believe that it was woman-led. Next up, we have the fact that Oprah is helping to hawk the coffee that her friend is selling. Now, that's not really a surprise, but this next bit of information was. Before they revamped their website, one of the things that was on there was the above statement that their mushrooms were the highest quality and they're organically grown in China in natural materials and rigorous testing and blah, blah, blah. So there's a major ingredient, the mushrooms, I believe it is, that's coming from a Chinese supplier that's based in a police state where genocide is taking place. Human rights groups have urged companies to cut business ties with this area because of the appalling abuse, including forced labor. I mean, it's crazy. And Muslims in re-education camps where women are systemically raped. At least 5 organizations have said they will no longer help companies audit their supply chains because workers are unable to speak out because they have fear of reprisals. Now, it's it's interesting because the coffee brand stopped working with these people several months ago and is now using a U.S. supplier which uses Canadian oats. But for years, they did this one in China. And only now that they've been put on a global stage are they making the changes necessary to conform to Meghan's, whatever. Now, of course, when asked about this, Meghan's representatives would not respond to a request for comment, but they said she would never work with any organization that doesn't uphold her highest ethical standards. But do you really believe that she invested in this company without vetting it out first? She vets everything, so I'm sorry, I don't believe that. Well, and look at the picture at the top here, proudly women led. Yeah. So then another bit of information came out. Watch this. All right, here we go. Thank you to the Sussex Bunyan. Yes, they have been cited. So much for their organic blend. Lead. Yes, lead in the product that you're buying from them. That's a little scary. And this problem was found in August of 2021. And this is the first time we're hearing about it. So here's what I think actually happened. I think Meghan invested in the company. I think the company's not doing well, especially since Harry and Meghan's popularity has tanked. I think these are fake staged photos. When you look at stuff like, look at this photo of Meghan, she always has the exact same expression with the open mouth smile. Look at me, I'm having such a great time. Right, okay. It's not real, guys. It's just not real. I also noticed that she's wearing this huge oversized jacket. You guys, she's not pregnant. I guarantee you she's not. But she wants to continue on with the whole, the whole talking, because even bad press for her is better than no press. Now, I have to agree with Meghan's mole on this. The pictures are taken, if you look closely, where they're packing and producing. And there are no hairnets. They're in regular clothes. They're not wearing gloves on their hands. I mean, that's disgusting. Just another reason why I haven't bought any of that coffee. And I have a feeling it's not doing well, and that's why this commercial popped up. Everything she does is self-serving. So, of course, if the company does better, she'll make money. There you go. All right, really quick, everybody is contacting me. I want to send you something. I want to mail you something. What's your address? Obviously, I can't give out my address. And even if I wanted to, I'm only in this apartment for another month or two. So here is where you can write to me. It's Sue Smith, 655 H Fairview Road, Fairview. Post, you have to put PMB, number 103, Simpsonville, South Carolina, 29680. Just send whatever it is you want me to have to that address and I'll get it. All right, you guys, leave those comments below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you've already hit the button, double check. Make sure you're still subscribed. Trust me on this. Just double check. Don't forget to go up into the description box and you'll find the links to my Twitter, my Getter, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon, my mailing address. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund and through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.